All right, welcome back to The Floor Always Tells the Story. Back through the mists of time. This is an episode that never aired. It's from September 16th, 2021, an episode in which we call Marco Gets Shot, in which our podcast was interrupted by, well, you'll hear about it. My guests were Marco Cardetti and Tim Garnham Jr., both industry experts. We were just rolling out of COVID. We were at a studio we no longer occupy with a company none of us works for anymore in a galaxy far, far away. Let's see about the industry, what was going on, and did any of our prognostications come true? Let's roll back the clock to September 16th, 2021. For you, Specialty Forest Products' best and brightest floor pros, let's kick it in. Marco Gets Shot. All right, Marco Cardetti and Tim Garnham.
Steve, how are you today?
Guys with me today are both, we all work together with Wood Pro. We're now a division of Horizon Forest Products. These gentlemen are in outside sales. Wood Pro is about a 30-year wholesale distribution company in hardwood flooring, etc. Guys, we've been over a trillion things. We've had a lot of meetings. We talked about a lot of different things. Marco, how'd you get into this whole side of the industry?
I was working for my family's flooring store, and I saw the opportunity to go into distribution, and I decided to take the plunge.
Did you have to do the install, sand finish, all the
training,
the
yes.
testing, all that stuff when you were younger? And Tim, you were in my territory. You're like second, third generation. How did you get into this?
Yeah, it's a very similar story. I was in the family business, went out on my own, ventured, learned how to sand finish floors, install floors for my parents, did a few things on my own. And here we are today.
This is the first time I've been in a room with people that we're all retail background. We all were contractors. We all got into the wholesale distribution side of it. And now here we are in the middle of the craziest market I've ever seen. I was looking, we all got an email this morning from, what was it, Floor Covering Weekly?
Mm-hmm.
And it said there's rising cost of material, floor chain log jams, and labor shortages. And all it's done is increased pricing, and it's saying that in the next quarter we could go up another 2 to 10%. We're already higher than it's ever been. Like, Marco, go back 10 years, what's the highest you saw like red oak and white oak strip going for?
10 years ago, I was paying $259.
Yeah, remember the high was $279. We were worried no one would buy it. And Tim, you've been in there forever. What were we seeing recently? $379 went to $409. $409 went to $419 for unfinished material.
It's just creeped up for months, and it still is creeping up.
Where is it now? Just stripping 3 1/4 unfinished material, just about wholesale.
$5 range.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say $5, yeah.
$5.79, and everything else is through the roof.
And again, it just keeps creeping. Creep right up.
You know, we were talking about one of the biggest problems in the entire industry is the lack of trained flooring installers, etc. You guys got to see it more, because I deal with the flooring contractors regularly, but I would think that your clients being really, is it mostly dealer based, right? But you have your flooring contractors. They must be having a hell of a time getting actual flooring contractors that aren't cousins, nephews, relatives.
They don't have any problems booking projects. They have issues finishing projects. They'll take everyone's money, but I mean, some stores are 3-4 months out, and a lot of that is due to labor shortage. Qualified professional installers and floor finishers as well.
Is it, well, your clients are all of them doing tile, vinyl, LVT, SBCs, all that stuff?
Yep.
So, Mark, what are your guys, like, you're mostly in the Metro Boston, Massachusetts. Tim's more in the New Hampshire area. What are your people doing for hard? Are they subbing out? They're using their own people?
They're scrambling. They're grabbing whoever comes in and says they know how to do it. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Do you think you're having more claims, less claims, or have we even gone down that road yet?
More claims.
Yeah.
Yeah, improper installations.
Yeah, yep.
I find I'm explaining things in greater detail way ahead of the installs, and I'm still getting caught. Tim and I did when we went out. Somebody was in a little bit of trouble. We said, let's just go out. We went out, looked at the floor. We get the whole thing set up. And what happens? He decides that he's comfortable with what he has. He goes with the guy he had set up to do the install. It was engineered. Mm-hmm. It was 20 days of rain and humidity, and we actually pulled all the material out, swapped it. We were going to get him an engineered material. He swapped it out for a 6-sided sealed solid material, and immediately we started having technical difficulties. What happened on that job to start? What was the first complaint?
The first complaint was, it was aesthetics.
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, it's a white oak.
Did they have a snap crackle thing going on when we went over?
Yeah, there was some snap crackle. Yeah, absolutely. And we identified it where the stapler or the fastener was probably empty.
Yeah, the whole gun was empty.
Yeah, the whole gun was empty. And if you're a professional certified installer, you'll know when the gun is empty. And here we go circling back to that.
Yeah, you can tell sometimes, like, I know we were looking at it and I thought, well, it's a corner, it's a closeout, the tools become limited. And let's say it's a big job like we saw, there's probably some guys in the other room, and this could be helper, whoever, they don't quite hear that gun hasn't popped off. I remember we had to go into the crawl space and we took the flooring contractor with us, and I said, we're not finding any fasteners here.
Right.
So we crawled under the house, we look up, you could see everything penetrate through except for where we were talking about. So,
and we identified that there was a spline there because the staples that we did find, some were going one way, some were going right. They reverse directions, which is, I mean, that's a perfectly good thing to do if there's fasteners in the gun.
Well, the guy started to get mad at us because I mentioned humidity, because it was on a bog. It was
July of 2021. It was
yeah. And I said, well, wait, easy. I'm not saying there's a problem. I'm saying when you have this much humidity and you have a spline with no nails in it, and the 3 rows that have been skipped, they're starting to push. Watch, we walked around, made no noise. As soon as you hit those spots,
we reset them. Yeah,
and everything.
Big pops.
But that's something that, and typically the answer would be, well, we're just going to rip this out and we're going to replace it. We're going to get it, and which we offered to help with, and they did. And then the builder started to come at us with every other problem in the house, where the wood had come into the garage, where his people stored it, and this is what we're seeing all over the place. We're not getting that type of technical representation. Marco, you had a customer today used the showroom. Why'd they come all the way up here to meet you to look at these floors?
Because they can trust what they're being told is accurate, and they trust the knowledge that I have and the experience that we've gained.
Yeah, right. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. It's almost like as wholesalers, we've had to take the reins a little bit sometimes, maybe even cut out our customers a bit, because some of the newer ones are willing to give us their money and their business. They're not even sure how to explain the different floors that they're getting.
I call it a constant practice. Every project's different, and I see it as a constant practice.
Oh, absolutely. Marco, you're one of our top sales guys out in the field. What is it that these retailers are trying to contend with now? Because I'm seeing all sorts of things. I'm seeing an uptick in LVTs and SPCs and synthetic products. Is that a go-to for them, or are they trying to avoid all that?
Some of them will avoid them. Some of them will just sell whatever the person wants walking through the door, and I think that's where the misconnect is.
Are they having problems with the supply chain thing too, like getting
supply chain? Yep, the adhesives, the supplies, the price is going up on a daily basis. But the biggest obstacle, circling back to where we started, is just the lack of professional help at the installation level.
How we talk about it all the time, but you guys are out there. Is there a way to solve any of this? I mean, we obviously need, this happens all the time. It's about every 20, 25 years, something in the market changes. There's a cycle. Construction takes off. Everything goes up, prices go up, inflation, etc. And then we never have enough people, qualified people, to get out there and do this work. What are some of the things you're hearing for the future? What are we supposed to do about this?
That's the $1 million question, is what's the answer to bring in new labor, new people coming on board? And I think about the answer all the time. And I mean, it's really tough to come up with something.
I've heard some interesting stuff. People have talked about making lightweight equipment so that women can use it, and even not only that, because that would be a nice addition to the market segment, would be, there really is no need to be carrying around a 350-pound sander for your whole career and being proud that it fights you like a bull, which a lot of people will talk about. They'll say, look at this machine, and then, boy, it just drags me across the room. No, we don't need that. We need equipment that's a little more finesse than that. Maybe people would be able to stay in the industry longer.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I was installing as little as 2 years ago, and for me, it was instant gratification. You're taking a space that needs some help, and you're applying everything that you've learned in the past, and you're putting your name on every project. And the gratification for me was a huge part, and that's That's great.
Good money in it, though, right?
There's good money, absolutely.
Is it different, Marco, in Massachusetts, and maybe he is in New Hampshire? Are they like, what is like the going labor rate? And let's say, like, is it different in Metro Boston than it is like out towards Springfield? What's the kind of the idea there?
Are we talking installation or site center finish?
Yeah, let's say, give me both, like, to install and then maybe just a flat out refinish or sand finish.
If they're doing both aspects of it, the sand, the install, and the finish, they're up around $550 a foot.
Okay.
If they're doing pre-finish, they're at $325.
Okay, and how
But
about?
there's a but. The homeowners have responsible for any parking tickets, any towing fees, lunch.
We don't have to
We
worry
don't
about
have
that in
any-
New Hampshire. We do not have to worry
Right?
about that.
And working around unions and everything else. Well, where you are, that's where I started my career. We were the highest guys around at $1.75,
Mm-hmm.
and there was always somebody for $1.25. Like, where is the number now for installs and to finish in your area?
Pre-COVID, I was installing the going rate was like $250 a foot to install pre-finish, and depending on if there's a stain or if it's a natural to sand and finish floors, it's around $5-6 a foot.
Yeah. So, do you guys think that a couple questions? If the market changes like most markets do, like gas and everything else, where do you guys think, if it's $5 now, where do you think it's going to be, let's say, a year?
There'll be less people doing it in a year.
So the price
That's the
will go
trend. The price is going to go up. It's simple supply and demand.
How about the cost of the materials? That's probably going to come down at some point, but you think it's going to go back to $239, $259, $289?
No.
Not in the foreseeable future.
I don't
No
think
way.
manufacturers letting that go
Nope.
either, right?
No way.
The price of the material might come down, but the cost of what you're paying to have the labor done to produce that material is not going to reduce itself.
No, I think you think about it. One of the pluses that we came out from all this was, if you were a flooring contractor back in the day making $1.50, maybe you got up to $2 an hour. Even the low guys right now at $3, there's no way they're giving up that and going back down to $1. It's
No way.
Which kind of makes sense. You go in pockets around the country, and some places are making. I've told you they'll charge you $30 a foot for your flooring, and it sounded crazy at the time, but now when you look at it, you go, all right, wood, labor, all inclusive, and they're subcontracting it. I can see that, about $30 for a really well done hardwood flooring job.
It better be $30 a foot.
Yeah, if you're lucky to get that. Well,
Yeah.
now we were talking the other day. I saw Marco sold a floor. It was like $11.95 wholesale. What is that person going to sell that at? $15-16, and then the person putting in it adds another $5 to put it in, and
$20.
yes, now we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It is funny though. I don't see people just rushing for unfinished red and white oak. They're still going after everything. Don't you think?
It's a broad mix. I mean, that's what I've seen, Marco, is it's a broad mix of unfinished and pre-finished. Pre-finished is almost as challenging to get as unfinished. It depends on the manufacturer, where it's coming from, and exactly what if it's engineered, what's the veneer? I mean, do they have trees to make the veneer? I mean, this is getting down to the nitty gritty.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
crazy.
Mark, are you still seeing a lot of stuff that comes in from China? Like, I know at one point that everything seemed to be coming from there.
Yes, a lot of stuff is coming in from China. Floors Decor, I believe most of their stuff is from China.
Yeah. Is it because it's all engineered? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't think it'd be solid stuff for the most part. Or
There's no label on the solid that I saw when I was in there, so I can't really put my finger on that aspect of it, but most of their LVTs and laminates and whatnot were coming from China.
well, you guys fill up racks and displays for all different manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
How come I don't see exotics anymore? Like Brazilian cherry, Kempis, whatever. Are you putting any of that stuff in your display racks?
We are putting it in, but most manufacturers are reducing their production of that product. And there's only a handful of companies that are making it direct from, South America to here. Mercia, for one, just dropped their exotics. Mulligan's dropping theirs. So they must see a reduced volume of what they're producing on their end in order to just cut bait on the product.
Well, you would think probably with COVID and other issues, it's worldwide that going back to the labor thing. It's not just hardwood flooring, sander, finish, installers, contractors, right? We're talking loggers, people that drive trucks, everything. I mean, you probably are seeing this in everything from. Can your dealers and retailers find not contractors, but employees.
No. Nobody wants to work full time.
Nobody. No, it's
I was talking.
it's very limited these days.
I was talking to one of my customers the other day, and the average age for a carpet installer is 58. The average age for a person to install linoleum is 62. And the average age for a hardwood floor guy was 47 and a half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking people on the back nine. And
We've got a lot of data right now that we need to do something about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that demographic that's getting older really, I mean, we all know people that are doing this till 60, even 70 years old, but they'll all tell you they can't stop. They don't take long breaks, long vacations, or even long weekends. They got to kind of physically keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've even noticed everywhere you go, even like places like Dunkin' Donuts, they'll have signs after noon that say, drive up only. And it's not COVID. It's just there's no one to man the counter. And you look in the window, they're just doing everything with two people behind the counter.
And that goes back to reinforce what Tim said, that the labor prices are just going to go higher because there's less people doing it.
Yeah.
So if you reduce the amount of people actually performing the physical work, then the ones that are still doing it have to charge a premium.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'd be smart to not only to do so. It's not like they're gouging or cashing in, but
Right.
they've never been paid enough in the first place. Trades just don't. It's you know what it's like. It's generally accepted that, well, okay, everybody just about has a wherewithal now to get you through high school. It used to be, well, I'm the first one in my family that finished high school. Now it's, did you finish college? Where did you go to college? How good was your college? I know even people in my family that have done well. They go to school, they get their degree, and then they go home and go, I have no idea what I want to do. So now you've spent like $250,000 to not know what you want to do. And I know what they don't want to do. They don't want to do physical
labor.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a human resources shortage. There's a shortage of qualified. It's not, we're not short on humans. We're short on qualified humans.
Yeah. Well, I noticed too, when we tried to get people to deliver hardwood flooring, we went up and we went up and we went up on what we were paying. And yet, literally after a long process of hiring, we probably had 50% attrition. Like day one, we were like, I don't think this is going to work out for you. They want the money, they want the pay, or
Well, we all do.
yeah, or they may want to stay home.
Yeah.
The when you're talking about wholesale distribution and like what we do, right? And retail. Oh, hey, Marco cut himself.
Oh.
Look at that. It's bleeding for the home team.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
We got to. Does anybody have paper towels?
How to rewind. I don't think there's a button to do that.
Oh, so it's recording now. All right, we're back from the break.
Here we are.
So
Me and Diggs.
we're talking.
Diggs and I. Me and Diggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Marco
That's
show.
kind of bizarre.
The Marco show has been canceled. So we're
Second half.
We're sitting here talking about flooring, and Marco's like, "Man down, man down." He's bleeding. We have no idea.
Second half is brought to you by Johnson & Johnson Gauze Pad.
Yeah, we have no idea where this is coming from. And then he's like, "Yeah, peace out."
See ya. New tires on the way out.
Yeah. Now substituting for Marco, number 15 in your playbook, number 1 in your hearts, TGG. See, my phone always says Tim Gonham Jr.
Where?
Can't say junior.
No. TG2. Timothy the second.
TG2.
The second.
So, listen, we were going over industries, this and that, and we all know that the difficulty is that there's just not enough people in this industry, and that's going to be, typically, you'll find historically, this is going to be a problem for a while. The good thing is the people working in it are going to make good money, but people that are building businesses and building wholesales and merging and doing all these things that are trying to get it all together and being competitive are now fighting over what they shouldn't be. Like, there's work, and we all need material. I know distributors that are putting notes out saying we're not going to have wood for 8 weeks, 12 weeks. We're doing well, but we're trying to keep our supply and not just fritter it out there. And then there are literally, you've seen it, people calling going, all right, I want to buy 80,000 feet, or I want to buy everything in your warehouse. And they're not kidding. They mean it.
It's no joke. These days, it's no joke.
No.
It's absolutely no joke.
So, what, as tempting as it is, you're going to take it away from all your clients that have been here forever that really are trying to keep things together, pay the mortgage.
This is another time where loyalty tests loyalty.
That's true.
And you look back in 07 and 08 when things were with the economic crash, that's another time where loyalty tested loyalty.
Yeah, it's tricky on, like, as a distributor. It's easy to be loyal to hardwood flooring contractors because they rely on you for products and knowledge and everything. But when I was in the part of it that you're in doing retail, and I had a retail showroom in that, it's hard to be loyal because there may be 3 major distributors in your area, and they're all wanting a chunk of your business, right? Like, you want a piece of it.
Absolutely.
And then your competition is also a big company with, 1 minute it's $1,000 display. Then it's, well, you know what, we'll split the cost. Then the competition goes, well, we're going to give them our own racks for free.
Yeah, a bigger one, a better one.
Well, how about we throw away those racks and you can have ours free, and it goes back
free sample.
And then what does everybody want off that rack? Whatever's closest to red oak at $3.99.
Yeah.
So you have a $2,000 rack to sell just about everything, and people are buying the cheap stuff off of it.
Right.
But not today. It seems like I've had people, you and I've talked about what were we talking about when we were speaking about the book Cracking Accounts? Oh,
yes.
It's
Jim Ambrose.
NetSpeed.
Yep, NetSpeed.
Which is fast and perfect.
Right, which is the Amazon model. Fast and perfect.
Right.
You can order something, get it the same day. You can drive, I drive up and down 93, 89, Interstate 93, Interstate 89, Amazon truck. Fast and perfect. Yeah. And they have specially placed warehouses, and that's how they're fast and perfect.
Yeah, and I know before I knew all about what Amazon was up to, before they had their vans everywhere, I had a neighbor would get U.S. Post Office on Saturday, Sunday, and I asked my wife, what is going on? She said, they get packages, and then it was Amazon. So, like today, we were talking about Marco being here. He's up here because he had a meeting in the showroom with a client because they can't get exactly what they want. So what do you think they did? Fast and perfect. Why don't we come up, you show me what you have. Yeah. And if I like it, I'll buy it today. I'll take it out of your building
exactly.
today.
Yeah.
It's different, isn't it? Like look in your situation. What was it? Explain what it was like. How long ago were you doing install, sanding, finishing?
Oh, that was just 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, that was as little as 2 years ago.
I remember being your supplier and getting you the equipment, and but you had a background in it anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, so a typical day, wake up. Sometimes I'm sore. Sometimes I'm not sore from the previous day. Yep. I mean, that almost seemed like a coin flip. So, every day installing. Yeah, it's a lot of work on your body, but there's more benefits to it than just getting a workout or making money. I mean, there is a lot of gratification when you can transform a space. So anyways, going back to a regular day, wake up, make the coffee, get the kids to school. And if you're smart, you'll plan out your day or your week ahead of time, and you'll know exactly what materials you need, what tools you need. So if I was doing a tile shower one day, I would make sure to have all my tile tools. Yeah. It sounds simple, but there's always one or two things that you always seem to forget. And that's when I go back to saying that it's a constant practice. And I'm always the guy that's looking for a new tool or a new machine, something to make it more of a quality install. And not so much faster, but I mean, that also helps too.
Well, you don't want to forget anything either.
Right.
Because you're from the area, I was, the Lakes region, etc.
Yeah.
So let's say you drive an hour or something, it's beautiful, and you go, oh boy, I don't have the vacuum wand. I don't have the 230 cord for my big machine, and there's no distributors.
And that's right. And that's why it's a constant practice.
You say that my partner and I, we used to meet at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And almost didn't even have to talk because he already knew what wall we were going to come. I already knew where my lines were going to be.
Well,
you just know, and by the time you wake up, I know where I'm going to start.
It's next level thinking, and then on the way home, I'm going to do an estimate to meet up with. And my father would always say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Shout out to Dad.
Yep.
And do an estimate on the way home. So your mind is constantly moving, and you have to be sharp as a tack every day.
Did you have a preference in refinishing or sanding or installing?
Sand and finish I got into in 07 and 08 when things were slow.
Yep.
And I look back and it was actually a really good time to get into it because at that point I needed to learn something new. I wasn't thinking as hard as I could. So if I were to take something new on, hey, this is kind of cool. I get to learn something. I get to practice something, and I get to sell something, and I get to transform a space, which is something that I had never taken on. So yeah, sand and refinish. We all know it's not easy, but it's pretty incredible when you can take this old, gritty, nasty floor, put a nice stain on it, or put a nice sealer on it, and make it look beautiful. I keep going back to gratification, and it truly is very rewarding. And that's why we need to get younger folks into this. It's a next level, reward. You could say, yeah, there's money in everything. I mean,
well, it's rewarding too because it's not easy. Like people will say, well, I'm going to do my own floor. And I'll say, all right, well, legitimately, if you're crafty and you're good with tools and you want to install a floor with, maybe a couple of YouTube videos, you could do a, decent install. But
you find whatever you want.
Think about turning a sander or a buffer on. When somebody will do it for $2, $3, $4 a foot, let it do it. You're asking for trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to make a living off of giving my customers that wanted to do it themselves advice or a short little seminar. And they would say, well, why are you doing this? I go, oh, because you will never do it again.
Right.
This will be the last time. You'll tell all your friends, they really helped me, but I will never do this again.
Company a deposit to reserve time on the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So and I talked to a couple of guys yesterday that were in here, and they were saying the other thing is you're in your own headspace when you're sanding and finishing. You put your ear protection on and you zone out for hours.
You do.
And that's how I got through college. I would study and record my classes and listen to them, or even radio, or back then before podcasts, they had books on audio cassette or whatever it was. It's
Walkman.
different.
How about a Walkman?
Yeah, I had that.
Discman, Walkman.
Hello. I had the yellow one, and what I did was I took that, you mean a little headset you put on, I ripped that apart, I put the speakers inside my hearing protection.
Yes, you told me about
that. And one day I was sitting on the floor, and this lady was peeking through. Remember, you had to hang out drapes just to keep the dust out. And maybe we would, listen, this was the advice back then. Hang up sheets and spray mist them with water so that the dust doesn't go anywhere. Of course, we'd be ripping people's drywall and their wallpaper. Yeah. But this lady was peeking through and looking at me, and I shut the machine down. I pull my headset off, and I go, hey. And she goes, what you doing? And I go, I'm just sanding. Yeah. I go, she's looking at the headset.
Block party weekend.
No, I go, I'm monitoring the sine waves of the floor. If I get a vibration past a certain point,
that's something you would do.
Right. She goes,
something
that is amazing. And I go, I think you said, Rock 101's a block party weekend.
Block party weekend, baby.
Yeah. 3 for, I tell you right now.
3 for Van Halen.
I can tell you without even betting right now. Next song is Tall, Cool Woman in a Black Dress. Taking Care of Business. And then
TCB.
That's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, you do install. That was fun because you go in, you get all your tools in, and you, let's say the first hour you just rack out flooring and these.
But even before you begin, there's more to it. You have to make sure that there's proper moisture. You have to make sure your floor is level within X amount. You have to use. There's a lot to it, and that all comes down to what you want to do. How hard do you want to think? And once you gather all that and you put a project together, it's like I want the next one. I'm on a high right now. I want to see what I can do on the next one.
But you're not going to do that with the headset on because I have to talk to you.
No. Well, yeah.
Or until you get going, right? And then one guy's at one end of the room closing out, the other guy's starting, and you just walk away, and that guy goes to the other side of the room.
Right.
One of you looks down, makes a pencil mark. Next guy comes by, picks it up, and cuts it. Right. And you know what? After a few months or however long, especially years, you just know. You know what the other guy's doing. And you work in unison.
The gentleman I was in business with, Bobby. I've got to do another shout out to Bobby. We would do some work up at Dartmouth College, and we would get these big rooms going, and he knows when he's got to start edging. He knows when I'm running the machine. I mean, it's pretty cool once you get the whole system down. It's really, everybody knows their spots. It's just like any team sport. Everybody has their roles, and if they play well, you're going to do well.
Yeah.
And it's
But when you got to teach somebody new something,
fine.
it really
Well,
sets you back. It
does, but
especially when you're trying to be productive and you're trying to make money and you're trying to keep the business going. And, or even worse, you're the owner and your best people are going to be getting their own business cards in about an hour and a half.
Right. And if you're the owner, all you're looking at is dollar signs and that's for what it's.
Well, you have a lot over your head because
there's a ton, everything.
You're not going to get insurance. You're not going to get an HMO package. You can't collect unemployment.
No.
So you work. I know I saw a T-shirt today. It said something like, what are my hours today? When we're done, that's my hours.
Yeah.
We leave here when this is
done. So you just made me think of something. So I was doing a job and one of my contractor buddies had his he said, "Hey Timmy, my son wants to start working with you. Show him what you got. Let's see if he's interested." So at the end of the first day, he goes, "Hey, am I getting a check today?" I go, it doesn't work like that, bud. I mean, you did okay today, and you took out the trash, and you kept me stocked with boxes, and you did good, kid, but that's not how it works.
You didn't get paid every...
Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
How about if you're still here Friday? I'll have a check for you.
And we started that one on Wednesday, so I just needed 2 more days out of them.
Well, and you want to get paid by the client, and if anything goes wrong, you might not get paid at all.
It's your typical small business ebbs and flows. I mean,
all right, so bring it to
that's just how it works.
When you had the opportunity to get away from that, and listen, you probably could have gone to work with your father because you worked in a retail store.
Oh yeah,
I know that. What is it like? What got you into coming on to the distribution end of it? And then what's that day like?
Well, I mean, I had never tackled it before. So it just goes back to when I'm installing. I want to take on a new project. I want to try something new. And so I was given this opportunity and I said, so I kind of stepped back. I said, okay, so I've got the installer experience. I've got the inside sales experience. I said, so I won't have to be on my knees anymore. That's kind of cool, I guess. I can still pay the bills. Okay. And yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. And here we are today, a year and a half later. And, I get the proper support that I need. And it's great to meet new people and help stores succeed with their sales. And, besides the fact that, you have to know everything about every product, which, I mean, that's pretty simple. You have to know that. But no, typical day, same thing, drop the kids off. My day's already lined up, meet with 5, 6, 7, 8 clients a day. In the middle of visiting clients, fielding phone calls, emails. Our new computer system's great. Kudos to them. And it makes things a little bit easier. And it's the master. You have to be a master of multitasking in order to be successful. And it's just, I have more passion because I know what it's like being on inside sales, and I know how tough that retail is. And my buddy always said, everybody should have a retail job. Everybody needs to know what it's like to work retail. And just to know how difficult and challenging it can be, there's good customers and there's challenging customers. There's no bad customers.
No, what kind of stuff do they need from you as you're as a rep? When you're going into these different places, what kind of stuff is it that they need to get from you?
Every store is different. Sometimes they just need inventory.
Yep.
Sometimes they need a specialty product. Sometimes samples. Sometimes they need help with, hey Tim, I've got this challenging stairway. Can you find a way to template it, or figure a way that we can get pie stairs produced? I mean, there's just the business is so complex that there's a lot of moving parts and pieces, and the fact that part of the job is problem solving. That's part of the job that I really, really enjoy. So if you can help somebody problem solve, chances are you're going to get their business down the road. And then we go back to fast and perfect net speed. If you give an account 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes it's easy enough for them to find an alternate product that's not yours, and you lose the sale.
Yeah.
And the branch loses the sale, and the company loses the sale, and chances are you may lose a few sales down the road. But
Yeah, and their client is running around all over the place, taking your samples and bringing them to other places.
yeah,
They're running
find me something close. Find me something
anywhere.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wear layer just has to be close.
I mean, if somebody has something to
finish
offer,
warranty,
they'll take it.
whatever. Yeah. Board length, every customer is different. Everybody's needs and wants are different. But that's kind of the cool part is problem solving and finding the right solution.
But you still get to use your floor skills. That's what I like. I mean,
That's the best part.
instead of it just being my job, these guys come in, it could be 20, 30 of them a day. I just
Right.
feel like I'm still part of that.
Right.
And you know what? Sometimes like you and I have done it. We'll just go out and look at the job. I mean,
Just look at
flip the machine
Right.
on and test the machine or find out how some particular product is nailing up or test a subfloor material or an underlayment or something.
Right.
It's just good to stay connected to the trenches where it's all happening.
But you're and with your background with you're more of into the science of it, and that's whenever we have to problem solve something, I always pick up something new, and that's really neat. I love it. I mean, it expands the
dial
mind.
in. Like you and I went on an inspection on the seacoast, and the floor was creaking and cracking. And
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. But remember, they're immediately waiting for you and I to get there to tell them why we're just going to give them a new house and a new home and pay for their kids' college education.
Right.
And in my head, I'm like, how long is this going to take me to convince them there's nothing wrong here? Because we walked in the door, there was nothing wrong in there. And
we were in the right house.
And the second you say the wrong thing, they'll be like, see, I knew you were coming here to toe the company line.
The defense.
You and I were standing there talking to a few people, and I got rolling, and then you kind of backed off, and then we got to talking a bit, and people started paying attention.
Right.
And we were able to map out, one, here's the level of what you have. It's not a 10. The 10 is we rip it out. It's about a 2. Here's what we can do. Here's what time we'll buy you if you just wait it out a little bit. And you, by the way, we were showing, remember, we were pressing on the window casings, going, hear how noisy these are? You're walking on a brand
same noise.
We're in a brand new house with brand new framing.
Right. And of course you don't step on the window trims, but it's the same concept though.
Yeah, it's air treads, railings, everything. How about once you get some weight into this room and some dressings and curtains and rugs and everything?
There was nothing in there.
No,
nothing in there.
No, and then people will say, I love historic homes and I love historic hardwood floors. If you ever read a novel that didn't talk about the creaky hardwood floor, no one ever wrote about the creaky, spooky subfloor. Listen, houses move. They're made of wood. You and I have talked about it. Where there's movement, there's noise. That's what creates noise.
Right.
So when you adapt to these situations, it's just become such an Amazon, Home Depot friendly. I'm not sure I like this. I'm going to return it. Sure. I think it might be noisy. I'm going to give it back to you. We can't do that with flooring. And I feel bad for some of these contractors that have really poured their hearts into it. And someone's hung up over the one little knot, the one little streak in a board. Mm-hmm. I think that's changing in this market because, as you just said, people are coming in here now and going, well, forget it. Forget your racks. Just what do you have in the building?
Yeah.
Fast and perfect.
And that's a certain number of clients, and yeah, we've developed relationships with manufacturers, and just like I said earlier, loyalty, and what did I say? Loyalty.
You said buy low, sell high. I remember that.
Yeah.
Marco was bleeding.
Marco's
not here.
Marco's gone.
We texted him.
Yeah.
He seems
fine. Fine. Yeah.
I think his 13-year-old daughter was driving, but he was watching her.
Fine.
He was paying attention.
He's all right.
He gave her a couple of pillows and a phone book to sit on.
That's right.
He'll get home.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
Yeah. We'll call Mass General later to see how he's doing.
What was that all about? Man down,
over
guy down.
That's bizarre. Yeah, very bizarre.
We'll call him live and we'll hook him up via satellite.
Yeah.
Hey, crazy things happen. You know, it's funny.
It is.
It's not as many crazy things happen as a distributor as it did when I was an installer. But it is funny when people come in and they have their different little stories I've seen some crazy stuff. I told you we were working on a job in Concord once, and 5-story building at St. Paul's School, which looks like right out of Harry Potter. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And
Old historic.
we did really good. And I said, if we hit something like 2,000 feet by noontime, I'm going to take everybody to lunch. So we had all these teams. We all go to lunch, and there was one kid missing. And they go, he's up on floor 5. He's edging up there. And I go, well, let's go get him. So me and another guy go up there. You can hear that, but it's all muffled.
Yeah.
So we go up around the top stairs, going through this one room, and I
Find the electric
cord.
Where
Find the
is-
electric
find
cord,
the
yeah.
cord.
And I look and I see it, and it's going into a closet, like a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
So he's in there,
Yeah.
and you just hear him, and like it's got to be pitch dark in there, right? He's
Got that little 30-watt bulb.
yeah,
there.
he's edging by just the edge of the bulb. But get this, I opened the door, I got blasted in the face.
Oh.
Took the bag off the edge.
Oh.
He's smoking a cigarette.
Oh.
No headset, no dust mask, in the dark. He's one-handed edging and smoking a cigarette. I go, you want lunch? Yeah. I go, you want to not blow up this facility?
Oh my
And he-
gosh.
But there's things
You want a Kleenex too? You might want to blow your nose a couple times.
Oh. Yeah, remember they get in the shower after edging a cup.
Oh.
It's like gluing your eyes shut.
Oh my.
But it's crazy. I had one.
But go back to that. How many guys do you think did that?
I didn't think any until then. I realized, wow, it's a lot.
It's a big world. How many guys do you think did that?
Oh, how many? Well, you thought of it, right? I thought of, why do we even need this bag?
I don't know.
Yeah, and listen, I've installed at my own house, and my wife makes me cut 2 stories down out on the front lawn,
Yeah.
and I curse and boy, if I was working for you, I'd have quit by now. Like, really? I can cut upstairs and run a vacuum or something, but everybody's tried to cut corners. Thank goodness for dust containment, because remember the height of it, it was like, well, if you buy the right scaffolding and the right plastic and the right tape, you can zone a room off.
A zip wall or something.
That's it. Yeah, zip wall in it. And we still sell that. And I think that's an interesting idea. But if you got a hole in it the size of a dime, the whole house was trash.
Right. It's just because it creates it like a vacuum.
Yes.
Dust always finds its way through.
But
no matter what you do.
I remember coating. I tried to sucker my brother into coming into the industry with me back when I thought, we're all going to sand floors and get rich. And it was a Saturday. He wanted to learn, and he was having a good time because, like you said, it's woodworking. We really enjoyed it.
Right.
It's a hot summer day. The front door's propped open, and we're coating on hands and knees with 4-inch brushes, oil-based finish. We're coming across the middle of the room. I'm about to back out, and I hear him go, whoa, and he falls down, and I look over. A dog chased a cat right between the two of us into these people's house.
Oh, man.
Hit the polyurethane, smacked into the wall, ran around the house. We jumped out of the way. They came right back out, poof, scooted up the road. I had to go back in and walk through it in our stocking feet and back out. I told him, you stay outside, and I coated it as best I could.
He's got to contain the cat and the dog.
We don't even know who's
taking that floor.
We don't even know whose they are.
Milo
this
and
house
Otis.
is empty. Yeah.
Milo and Otis are going nuts.
And we've seen weird things. But I got a call from a friend of mine that said, cat. He goes, a lady called him at like 7 at night. He had just finished dinner. She goes, can you come over right away? And he goes, can you just please tell me? And she goes, no, I really think you need to be here. And he's like, oh, great. There's a hair on the floor. Blah, blah, blah. There's a hair on the floor, right? He gets there, and there's a cat stuck in the floor finish.
Oh.
It was a parquet floor. He had sanded it, coated it with water-based
That's
finish.
the first floor I ever refinished. Parquet floor.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Did you have a cat stuck in it?
No.
He said there's the cat. It had curled up in a little ball. Just like water-based, just kind of a quick thing. And it fell asleep and it dried and it was stuck there. Stuck there. So, and I'm thinking just like you are, right? I'm like, I bet you they got a pancake spatula. And he was laughing. He goes, that's the first thing we grabbed because she'd never.
So it's it wouldn't be too sharp, but just
something close enough by.
Yeah,
she didn't have a paint scraper.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that was a long time ago. I said, if you had a phone today and you took a video of that, it'd be worth probably $10,000.
Oh yeah.
But they
shaved
the cat's fur.
It'd go viral in a minute.
Yeah, stuck to the floor. What craziness happens in this industry?
It does. Yep.
Your first floor was a parquet.
It was
here. Look, you can't even find.
Is in
it's
Meredith.
Like a leprechaun.
Is in Meredith, yeah. And yeah, it was just a small dining room floor, and they wanted to keep it, and yeah, we did mega on it. Yeah,
just a single, like, simple one part.
To clean it up. Yeah. And I've used some of the other ones too, and they're all good. So, But yeah, that was the first floor I ever refinished. Yeah.
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 Now I know why you're a wholesale distributor now.
Yeah. Bingo.
I get
No more parquet.
I get jealous when guys come in and they get like a really like cool one going, and you're like, I want to be part of that. The whole process. By the way, I talked to you a little bit earlier about social media, and you hooked me up with the Flooring Fails site, which is just floors gone bad, which is interesting today.
Man.
In social media. It isn't the positive. People are so thrilled with what goes on in life. You look at that Flooring Fails site, and it shows all sorts of ills.
I look at it every night because there's always something bad and new.
Fascinating.
It is. There's always something on there. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I also find on the other end of it, with a lot of people in the flooring industry will just send me Facebook requests or whatever. And in the old days, I would look and I'd be jealous, like, oh yeah, whatever. It's Red Oak, big deal.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes I see this stuff and I go, wow, those are good looking floors. They're trying everything. It used to be Red Oak, maybe White Oak, maybe Maple. No, now it's hickory and exotics, and they're doing hand rubbed oils. And then, for instance, Live Sawn. I taught a flooring program for 3 years.
So nice.
I went through all my books. There was no Live Sawn until about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Now I had to go through and find a definition of Live Sawn. It's no different than the way. It's just that they're leaving that material in the wider boards without culling it out into rift and quartered and pith and all the other parts of the wood. But boy, I am seeing the difference. You see online, someone will do an 11 to 13 inch plank Live Sawn with this hand rub kind of oil finish. And it's
amazing.
Pretty close to fine furniture. It is super cool.
Yeah.
There's a difference there, like what we do. That's where I got to go in and say, well, what are your expectations? Because this floor is beautiful and will not last. It's depending on what you use, depending on who's, living on it and what they're using it for. And here in New England, part of the year, you get snow, salt, sand, dirt coming in.
Yeah. I always look at the driveway. Okay. So you like the second you pull in, gravel driveway. Okay. No, noted. Yeah. Paved driveway. Oh, did they recoat it?
We can have a deeper artesian well, or we can have a tarred driveway. Gravel the driveway.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why the hardwood floors are worn out in the first 3 months, or they're vinyl or something else.
No, it's like every little part of a project you have to take into.
Yeah.
You have to think about every single part of it, that's the fun part. So.
You came in, you joined up into the wholesale part of it right during a lot of what's going on in the industry as acquisitions. We went out and acquired custom wholesale flooring, and then that partnership became part of another partnership, and that became today with Horizon Forest Products, gathering us all up and it was interesting. It didn't feel like a merger or it just felt like, okay, we're all under one big umbrella now as one big happy family.
Yeah.
I personally found that one of the biggest changes it afforded us, all the same people we've worked with for 20 years are in the same place. So day-to-day operations, but you know what? It gave everybody more room to do their job better, to get us more weapons to stick into this market.
That's the biggest thing, of the weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, in credit to the owners of the company that stuck it out for so long. And we really did a remarkable job with what we were given, and we were cruising right along. But when someone says, why don't I triple your inventory and give you a few more trucks? What do you think? And we're like, hey, yeah.
So I was in it for, let's see, April to December, and then we were acquired. And so the timing for me was perfect because I had developed my customers and I was really starting to fetch a groove. And then all of a sudden, hey, triple your inventory. I go, you're gonna arm me with these weapons? Yeah. We're gonna be taking off in outer space now. This is great.
The only thing,
this is fantastic.
Right? We're flying, and all of a sudden they're like, slow boat from China, and trees aren't being hauled in, and there's a thing called COVID.
Oh, and containers.
It's typical of the
containers and trucks. Containers and trucks.
Every time we lock a load, there's something that happens.
Yep.
But for me, being here forever, it's like, I still have the same bosses. I still have the same coworkers.
Right.
There's new ones.
Yeah.
And now I can brag, hey, Maine to Miami, plus why don't you head over to Texas? We got you covered, which is good. And you know what? Everybody here, it's each company that they combined us with had already called themselves the wood floor experts. So it worked out perfect because we went down to Baltimore. They threw the gauntlet down. They're like, see these awards? You want these? You better be experts.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, you want to get the most handsome award? We'll share it with you sometime.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. Yeah.
Although
in golf, you want to have a little Ryder Cup? Well,
hey, I know
there you go.
we're really staying in this business to see if we can get tickets to Augusta next year.
We've
tried that one.
Yeah, that would be that'd be something sweet, wouldn't it? Yeah. Hello, friends. Tim Nance here.
You go back to sanding, play some golf. Go back to sanding. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? We've chatted long enough, and probably about time we check in with the local authorities and see how Marco's doing. Marco's somewhere going, I was in New Hampshire.
Hey, what room is he in? Yeah, we got to see what room he's in.
Hey, if he didn't leave here with a mask, they're not letting him in anywhere.
Oh man,
he won't be going anywhere too quick.
That's true.
Man down on the flooring front. But hey, Tim, I gotta thank you for hanging out.
Yeah,
with me.
absolutely.
We're gonna do is get together sometime and solve all of the world problems because I think for us, it's probably a piece of cake.
Yeah, we can probably do that some other time. Yeah.
And listen, it's just always fun working with you, but it's a long way off before you're going to be my latex salesman.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
George is getting angry. All right, we're out of here.
Peace.
Thanks, Tim. Peace.